There's no man on a white horse coming to save you. Last week, I was on a coaching call with one of our adhesion release methods providers who is an amazing provider, but since we've started coaching 2 or 3 months ago, he's the first coaching client we've taken on in the past 6 to 9 months who hasn't substantially increased his income and his revenue. This doctor is also about to have a baby, his first baby, and also his wife, who is a chiropractor, is not going to be able to work for a while. Last time I spoke to him, there were 2 specific action steps he was supposed to take. One of those action steps was that he needs to post on social media twice a week. Since as adhesion release methods providers, posting on social media is one of the most important things that an adhesion provider can do, because people in chronic pain don't have access to treatment like that. And when you can just show that this is a treatment you do, often will people just see the video and say, oh, I need that treatment, and they will call an adhesion release methods provider. So he hadn't done this action. He asked me a question when we started the coaching call, and it surprised me, and I said, hold on one second. I need to ask you a question. Are you happy with the way this coaching has been going over the past 2 months? And he paused and he said, no. And I said, I'm not happy with it. You're not doing better. You're not generating more revenue. You're not helping more people. You're about to have a baby. You're not going to be able to produce more income to cover your wife's income. Let me ask you a question. Do you have a mother or father with lots of money that's going to come save you when you're straight up out of money? And he's like, no, I definitely don't have that. I said, okay, why aren't you doing one of the 2 things that you said you were gonna do? You're paying me money to coach you. Why didn't you do this thing? And he started going into his emotional stuff and his shame, and he sees a video of himself and he's like, I just hate it. I hate it. And I was like, I understand. Do you hate it so much that you're willing for your wife and your child to be out on the street and not able to buy food? And he's like, no, I don't hate it that much. I was like, well, that's what you're saying with your actions, because you're not doing the thing. You're not getting more patients in to see you. You're not generating more income because you're not helping fix people's pain. Therefore, there's a huge problem here. And he was very quiet the whole time I was speaking to him. Ultimately, he said, I understand what you're saying. I really don't like what I see on the camera, but I understand that I just have to get over myself. And I said, do you? Do you understand that if you don't post on social media that your family will not be able to eat? And the only reason why I know all this stuff is because 5 years ago, when I had my first 2 associates, I was begging these 2 doctors to post on social media. I hated seeing myself on camera, and I was like, please, you be the face of Barefoot Rehab, and I'll just do other stuff, but I need you to do it. And they didn't do it because they weren't the owners of the business. They were just associate doctors. And I was like, fuck, I have to do it. I have to post these stupid videos. They're not stupid. They're wonderful videos. I have to post the videos. And then a couple years ago, I was in $150,000 worth of debt. And then all the staff left, and then we took on this new space, and there was renovation expense, and our operator, I was having communication issues with that. And there was a bunch of stuff that I wasn't doing. And you know what's a really great motivator for doing stuff that you need to be doing? $150,000 hole. And I had my partner, Katie, and our 2 sons. And I was like, damn, we're having trouble paying for our mold renovation bill, which was almost $100,000 in our house. And I was like, okay, are we gonna be able to eat food? Are we gonna be able to still be living here? I'm not sure. And then I got off my ass and I took action. And it's because I've had people in my life talk to me in a way where I'm dragging my feet and I'm not doing the things that I need to do, that I was able to speak to this doctor who's an amazing person, an amazing human being, an amazing doctor, and needs to be serving people in his state because there's nobody around him in the gigantic city that he's in. He can do this. It's very helpful to remind ourselves that there's no man on a white horse coming to save us. I know for me, at times I would hope that one of my doctors would do something, or that maybe I hoped one of my parents would come in and swoop in and save me, or whatever. We need to be the person who saves ourselves. And when we realize that, then we ultimately take the action that we know that we need to take. And then whatever that gigantic fear was, that it looked like a gigantic dragon, it eventually becomes a little tiny mouse after the fact, because the fear is often magnified in our head, and whatever we're worried about, whatever that thing is, it doesn't ultimately happen. So I hope that you realize that there's no man on a white horse coming to save you, and that only you can save yourself. And what is the one thing that you've been thinking about over the past few weeks, the past few months, that you're not doing out of some type of fear or some type of shame or some type of emotion that isn't serving you? And can you feel what you're feeling and do that thing anyway? And share with us in the comments and let us know how it goes. I love you so much. Woo!